I am here today to talk to y'all about our 5-year plan. And I can't help but notice that today we have visitors. And so I was thinking, this is a great day for visitors to show up, because in case you're wondering who we are, this is who we are. All right. But I wanted to talk, first of all, I did both high tech and low tech in this thing. So the first thing that I want y'all to do, if you wouldn't mind, if you have your cell phones, if you wouldn't mind taking them out and take a picture of the QR code, which will instantly bring you to a web page. Don't worry, we got some low tech stuff going later. Here's what I want you to do. You're going to answer this one simple question. What words would you use to describe the fellowship today? And for those of you that are here for the first time or maybe the second time, it's your impressions, which is fine. So what would you use to describe the fellowship? And hopefully it all goes well with this process, which, you know, it's technology, so let's see. What you get. You get up to 3 words, so and it should be live. And this is called a word cloud. And so what's going on here is it's taking everybody's answers and it's putting them up there for us to all look at. And according to this, people are still typing. So I'll give you just another minute if you wouldn't mind. And I'm going to use these results in the 5-year plan. So there we go. It's just something visual for us to have. I also wanted to say, if you're low tech, you can let me know after church and I'll write them down and add them to this. So that's not a problem. If you're typing, just finish out this last word and we'll move on, because I'm going to try not to keep you for more than an hour and a half before an hour. Just kidding. All right. So what I see is that there's a strong sense of community and accepting and generous and love and like-minded. Well, I like to think that we're kind of open-minded, but I like-minded. Okay, connections. So there you go. Diverse, dependable. Well, I like that. Educated. Very good. All right. Well, thank you all for that. And let me pull this out of here. Okay. And then I have another question, which is, let me get back to this one. Technology, yes, it's fine. Next one. This is the thing. Right. Sorry about that. There it is. All right. Okay. Oh. There we go. Okay. Oh, well, I don't know why it's doing that. Maybe I forgot. Maybe I don't have the right. Oh, I think I know what's wrong. Let me just. I believe this one is supposed to say, what words would you use to describe the fellowship in 5 years? if someone wants to take a picture of that QR code and see if that's the question that pops up, and then I probably just typed in the question. We should say the question is
Today.
okay. Okay, well, let's get on with things then. All right. All right. Okay. So I was gifted with the opportunity to do the 5-year plan. And one of the things that is really important in a 5-year plan is to start at where we want to be, right? It's hard to make a plan of where you're going if you don't know where you want to be. And any organization, what tells us where we want to be is our mission. So does anybody know what the mission is of the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Statesboro?
Transformative love, acceptance of one another. Thanks to children's affirmation.
This is it. So, yes. So as a welcoming congregation, we work and worship together to become people of open minds, loving hearts, helping hands. Yes. Okay. We honor the transformative power of love in our individual lives and broader community. And so that's where we are, and hopefully, and more importantly, where we're headed. Okay, so data collection. So I do qualitative research, and for those that don't know, I'm a professor over at Georgia Southern in the sociology department. And so when tasked with this, I pulled in both my master's in public administration and my work as a sociologist. And so, sorry. I met with our soon-to-be immediate past president or current president, Dee Liston, when she was just had gotten I don't remember if it was when you had just gotten elected. Yeah. So we met. And then we had these fellowship circles, which, by the way, everybody seems to really love them. So yay. And I asked the leaders of the fellowship circles in the spring to ask everybody in your fellowship circle these 3 questions, which are the 3 questions. How do you envision the fellowship 5 years from now? What would you like it to look like? And then what resources do we currently have to move us towards that vision? And then what resources do we need to move us towards that vision? In other words, where are we going? What do we have to get us there? And what do we need to get us there in 5 years? Okay. I had lots of conversations with lots of you, and I wrote up notes of that. And then Erin put up some newsprint in the back. People wrote on that. I pulled all that in. Not that newsprint, it was out in the hallway. I brought that home typed up. And then I sent out an email a few weeks ago to see if maybe I missed anything or anyone, because you always do. And if I missed your ideas, I will tell you right now, if in the next week you email me an idea, I will incorporate it into the plan. So you still have a little bit of time, but boy, it's been a year. I'm a little tired of this. All right. So I put all of that in a qualitative software called In Vivo. I told you social science, sorry. Okay. But anyway, and this is what I found around how do people envision the fellowship. Mostly it can be summarized with this word, more. Everybody wants more. So what do you want more of? In 5 years, people want more families with children, more college students, more people. This is a quote, so I'm going to throw some quotes in. I don't know why this is so small. At home, it was really big, and I thought, well, this will look great. So I apologize for the tininess of the font, and I don't have any idea how to make it bigger. So I'll read it. More people, a larger membership with more members, especially children, and there would be more activities. So that's what people want. And then this is another quote. The lost, lonely, struggling, homesick, curious, exploratory, and lively college students need the solace of the safety of UU, and we need them too. Their young minds and bright ideas and all that energy and excitement about the future. So let me say, this presentation that I'm doing is merely a summary, right? I tried to consolidate, there were a lot of people that said more families with children, right? So I tried to pull out quotes to kind of exemplify. Fictive kin relationships. This is the idea that while we are not related to each other by blood and often not by marriage, we are still kin to each other. And someone wrote, I think there's a lot of chosen family to be had at UU. And I think there are a lot of people looking for chosen families and a place to raise a family. Okay. And then areas of diversity. People wanted more diversity within the congregation around race, around age. So I think, you know, especially as some of us are aging, it's important to have more young folks, more diversity around LGBTQ+. And more men. I did not know this until I started getting this feedback, but we don't have anywhere near as many men as we do women as part of our congregation. So the fact that the 4 of you showed up today, please come back. More diversity regarding race. I keep thinking about Leon Spencer saying that he was told UUs were good white people, but it is not enough. Yes, we might be good white people, but he's right that it is not enough. All right. So more music, more social events, more religious education for all ages. And then the organization. So this goes beyond the more. So one of the things that's happening in the next few years is our pastor is retiring. So there was some ideas around what we wanted for an organization. This is a quote, I'd like us to continue to have regular ministers 3 weeks per month and a variety of speakers for 1 Sunday per month on average. In other words, this person, by the way, I have to tell you, like, I'm glad we did this type of work with the qualitative stuff as opposed to a vote, because there was a lot of diversity of perspectives on what people wanted. So this person was basically saying, I want things to stay the same. Maybe we have to get a new minister, but I want it to stay the same. And then this person said, professional ministry and staff to help us meet our goals. Transformed into a lay-led congregation. This person had the opposite idea. We won't have people that we won't have a minister moving forward, but we'll have a lay-led congregation, kind of like today, you know, no one's getting paid. I'm not getting paid to stand up here. D, money, nothing.
Thank you.
That's what I think. Okay. We need to decide what we want and what is possible. The conversation needs to start today. In other words, the conversation started like a year ago. We need to continue on with this conversation. Okay. The next thing is about what we have, and we have a lot of stuff, so that's really good. So what do we have? I'm gonna pull out of all of this. I think what might have happened is when I transferred this over, that it got a little smaller, but so I apologize. Okay, what do we have? We have an environment, right? We have the building and the grounds and the signage, which I understand might have pulled a few people in today. So yay signage. Okay. We have a nice landscaping thanks to Cynthia. Cynthia, if you're here, is she here? No. Well, I knew she wasn't physically here, but sometimes they show up in the little boxes. But anyway, I think we need to, and then we have people. We have lots of people with lots of experience and wisdom and guidance we have people who are passionate about service and passionate about people. So lots of people with passion. We have good white people. And we have dedicated to service in their own lives, like Sherry, who has her hands in everything, and Jane, who also got her hands in a bunch of stuff, and Adrienne and Deb, who have their hands in a bunch of stuff. I think I need to wash. One that does the mind and body center, right? We have that. And that's, by the way, that's another environment thing, is that we have that wonderful mind and body center. What else do we have? We have leadership. We have a relatively small core group of leaders who know that this is important and who are willing to help. That's wonderful. Excellent RE, religious education coordinators. I thought that a lot of people use the word the letters RE. So just so you know, this is the last time I'm going to write it out, but it's religious education, which took me a while to figure out. So yay, Abby. Okay, we have music. Mortimer is currently forming a choir and inviting other performers to provide live music at some of the services. It was interesting because this whole thing took a whole year, right? So some of the stuff that people said, I was like, well, we need a choir. Well, we got a choir. So it was interesting how even just like during this year of planning, some of the things that people wanted has already started to happen. And what we have is a lot of service to the community. We work with Magnolia Baptist Church at Rebecca's Cafe to feed folks that don't have enough food. We have the Mind and Body Center. We participate in First Friday. So we already put a lot of focus on supporting the LGBT community and women. I can't put the women on it. Okay, and then we have our fellowship circles, which people really liked. So as I read through this next section, as I read through it, I want you all to be thinking because you're going to vote. So if you look, this is my low tech part. All along the wall over there is some newsprint, and everybody's going to get stickers. Even those of you who are here for the very first time, we want to hear from you too. Okay, so everybody's going to get stickers, and you get 3 votes. And by the way, you can vote to take all 3 of your stickers and put it on one thing if you really feel strongly, or you can 3 different things, whatever you want. You get 3 votes. And so I'm going to go over this stuff now, and then I'm going to send you all over there to hear, so I can hear from your voices, because this that I'm presenting is kind of everybody with regards to what we need, and I just want to try and figure out where should we put our focus in the next year. Right, so this is a 5-year plan, so we've got lots of stuff that we got to get done. But what I want to know is what should we do first? Okay, so be thinking about that as I'm presenting this, because you're going to have to go up and do some reflecting. Okay, so what do we need? For program ideas, it was suggested that we host recovery groups like Dharma recovery, 12-step recovery groups, LGBT plus 12-step groups. Someone wanted a drumming circle and a men's group. I think, maybe we could combine like men's drumming group. Niche. But the idea is to have these kind of opportunities for folks to get together. Someone to take the lead on establishing the men's group and maybe inviting friends who are not currently involved with UU, but maybe open to it. This was I put this quote up for 2 reasons. One, it points out, and this is probably the most important thing, it points out that, we can say, yeah, drumming circle, I'm for it. But if nobody is willing to step up and show up and bring the drums and do the thing, it's not going to happen. Right. So if you're going to put a sticker on something, keep in mind that it's not going to happen just because you put a sticker up there. Okay. So we need funds to support more music and resources for religious education. RE resources to extend our program beyond our congregation, including curriculum materials, ergo OWL curriculum on sexuality, and guest speakers such as members of Willow Hill Community Fellowship Circle. So here, the person was pointing out that religious education isn't just for children. And there was and this was multiple people pointed out the need for RE for all ages. Okay, so here's another one: adult RE classes to help with our personal spiritual journey. So more, and then the last one in this area of programmatic ideas was more family activities like our trip to Magnolia Springs, which was wonderful. Okay, what else do we need? Well, we need some organizational change, right? Lay-led congregation. Will UUFS have any minister at all? If yes, there needs to be an increase in pledges very soon. Yeah, lay-led is fine, but at annual meeting now, it needs to be made clear that this is where we are headed without more pledges. I am not opposed to lay-led. So I think one of the things that needs to be decided fairly soon, so Jane is retiring in 3 years now, maybe a little less than 3 years, we need to make a decision, because that has a lot to do with what resources we should be drawing from. Prepare for the attrition of members. This is very interesting. This person, I didn't put their quote up here. They were basically saying a lot of us are getting older, and what we can do will become less, and some of us may not be around in 5 years. So we need to be aware of that and start expanding the different age groups. Okay, so Also, the board, it was suggested the board could be smaller, could meet over Zoom, and that we could have some trainings for the board. And the other thing was to keep the mission as a focus. Okay, I would like to see the principles more mentioned in our services. Also, speakers could mention how their talk connects with our principles, and I thought that was really good. So I talked about the mission, but we also have the principles, and we have 8 of them, and they're transitioning now into something else, and we need to really start to put a focus on. So this is the language of the UU International, so like all of the churches. Instead of asking, I love this quote. Instead of asking how should we grow, we should be asking who should we be serving. This congregation does a lot with service, and it was pointed out that that is one of the ways to grow the fellowship. That if we get out into the community and we are visual, that will help to grow. Around resources, so this is right now we're having this whole conversation about pledging for next year, and when we talk about pledging, we don't just talk about money, but we talk about what they call time, talents, and treasures. So more people for time, talents, and treasures. Support for ministry, musicians, tech, and administration. Okay, solar power. And partnering with Savannah UU. So another thing about this, I'm going to talk about in a minute. Focused and targeted outreach. Reach out to the university and the tech schools. So in Statesboro we have a university, a college, and a tech school. We should be reaching out to them. We should have topic-based communities. One of the things people were like, we should do environmental projects, and we should pull people in from the community to get involved in the project, and then they may become interested in UU. And we should be reaching out to those who have no church home. And using the Mind and Body Center. And we should have outreach materials. Okay, I'm going to say this because I can, because I'm standing up here. We need t-shirts. I'm sorry. We go out into the community all the time. We go to First Fridays. We just went to Borough Pride, and we show up, and that's wonderful. But nobody knows that it's UU that's showing up, because we don't have t-shirts that say, services are prayer, UU Statesboro. So I'm going to put this plug in because I'm standing here. We need t-shirts, and we also need some pamphlets and materials that we can use for outreach. Utilize the Mind and Body Center more to reach out to community members who are already coming for classes and gatherings. Have pamphlets available for them in case they have questions about who we are. A good way for people to get to know about us. Bring our UU values to the world and make the world a better place. Start with talking about how we can address the needs of the community. Again, kind of start with where we want to be. Just a few more things. We need to make more connections. So partners with community organizations, partners with other churches, connections with UUAA, and then forming a cluster was suggested with nearby UU congregations. And in some ways, we with Brunswick and we share our minister, but during the pandemic, we would have these services, joint services over Zoom, and there are other UUs in the area. We're small, not all of them are. And I'll just give you a really good example, which is Clint had come, Clint Tawes, who comes and is our minister sometimes, came and invited us all to come and go to the Pride Parade in Savannah, which is coming up on Friday. And he said last year the Savannah church had a really small turnout, and I put something out there, and we're bringing a car, so that's what we're doing together with Savannah. And I know I was in communication with some of them at the beginning of my tenure as president. Okay, more efforts by current members. I would speak to that a little bit and say, I'm tired. So, I think that's true, but I think we need to expand out who's doing the work. So more volunteers in leadership positions, more time, talents, and treasures, and more leaders in RE, especially if we're going to expand it into adults. For the environment, solar power, picnic tables, and grounds, I think I think Cynthia might have some idea of this, but the idea is to provide an outside pavilion with solar powering and tables and open it up to have people from the community come and use the space, the outside space more. Okay, so I'm gonna stop there because I could go on but I'm noticing the time and I don't really want to take up all of your time, but I have some really good quotes that I will put into the final report. So what's next? So we're gonna vote on the priorities. I'm calling it a vote, but you know, everybody gets stickers. I'll hand those out in a minute. That's gonna be the next thing. And then this week, you are welcome to email me. Those that don't email, if you want to write some ideas down on a piece of paper, if you want to call me, it's helpful to me if I get them in a textual form, so I don't have to write notes. But I'll take them. If you're writing a piece of paper, then just please do me the favor of being careful with your penmanship. Okay, so I'm going to write up a more detailed report. I'm going to provide it to the board at the next board meeting, which everyone, by the way, is welcome to come to. And then I'm going to make the report available to the membership at before the annual meeting in December. That is my goal. Okay, so that is all I have. And I noticed the little stickers are getting passed around, and we're going to do this right now, and then we'll get back. So like everything that I said is up on those newsprint, and everybody should vote right now and remember, you can take all three and put them on one thing, or you can put them on different things, but let's get up and look at the list and everybody put their things and then sit back down.